time is 6:15. Here's the news edited by Anjana Dodangoda, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. U.S. government expresses support for Sri Lanka's on-recovery efforts. Minister of Tourism says over 100,000 tourists arrived in January. The Gazette on local government elections date published. Sri Lanka Navy to take part in Pakistan's naval exercise Aman. Job opportunities in Japan for Sri Lankan males. Foreign news, US and India to boost defense and tech cooperation as China threat grows. Sports news, cricket. Legend Roshan Mahanama to lead T20 exhibition match in UAE. Local news in detail. U.S. Undersecretary for Political Affairs Victoria Nuland, who is currently in an official visit to Sri Lanka, expressed her government's support for the ongoing recovery efforts in the country. This was revealed during a meeting with President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Presidential Secretariat this morning. During the discussions, President Wickremesinghe extended his appreciation for the support provided by the U.S. government during the difficult times. President's media division said. The discussion also focused on the ongoing discussions with the International Monetary Fund, while the U.S. pledged to continue to support the negotiations with the aim of swiftly resolving the issues. The President outlined the measures being taken in regard to the reconciliation talks with the minority parties in Sri Lanka, including the full implementation of the 13th Amendment. Discussions also focused on the ongoing efforts to combat the growing narcotics trade, with the U.S. extending their assistance. Minister Harin Fernando says more than 100,000 tourists arrived in the country in January. While publishing a summary report on tourist arrivals up to January 31st, he said that there was a growth due to the encouragement boost of the tourism sector. Accordingly, 82,327 tourists arrived in January 2022 and 102,545 tourists arrived in January 2023. The Gazette notification pertaining to holding of the local government election on 9th March 2023 has been published. The local government notifications have been issued by the respective district returning officers for the local government bodies of each district under subsection 38(1)(c) of the Local Authorities Elections Ordinance. They state that the poll for these local authorities will be taken on March 9, 2023 from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with more local news, Sri Lanka Navy to take part in Pakistan's naval exercise Aman. The SLNS Samudra left for the port of Karachi from Colombo yesterday to take part in the multinational naval exercise. Aman, hosted by the Pakistan Navy, the ship is scheduled to take part in the 8th edition of Aman, representing Sri Lanka Navy at the directive of the Commander of the Navy. The departing ship was sent off amidst customary naval traditions at the port of Colombo. The theme of this year's exercise is Together for Peace and Security, and it will be held in Karachi from 10th to the 14th of February, with naval personalities from 110 countries expected to join the multinational naval exercise. Meanwhile, the exercise is primarily focused on maintaining peace and security in the Indian Ocean region, and it encompasses both harbour and sea phases. Commenting on the Universal Periodic Review report on Sri Lanka, UK and the US representatives at UNHRC, Geneva urged Sri Lanka to repeal the Prevention of Terrorism Act and decriminalization of the same-sex conduct. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri said UNHRC, as Sri Lanka prepares to undertake the next round of commitments under the Universal Periodic Review, a range of policy measures are being identified to be addressed, including establishment of the truth-seeking mechanism and a new security legislation replacing the Prevention of Terrorism Act is in the stage of being finalized. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment SLBFE has announced job opportunities in the construction sector in Japan for males. Issuing a notice, the SLBFE stated that application forms for the job opening can be obtained via its official websites www.slbfe.lk. The SLBFE further stated that filled application forms with the relevant documents and certificates must be handed over to the SLBFE on or before 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. The filled application need to be handed over via the SLBFE's official email address titp@slbfe.lk, it added. The SLBFE said that further inquiries in this regard could be made via its official hotline 011-2789-367. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, a special notice for motorists on Independence Day activities. Motorists have been requested to use alternative routes during the rehearsals and celebrations of the 75th Independence Day of Sri Lanka. Police spokesman SSP Nihal Talduwa told the media that rehearsals will be held on the mornings of the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of February, while the Independence Day celebrations will be held on the 4th February 2023. He further urged motorists who routinely use Gold Road to use alternative routes during the period. SSP Talduwa said that motor traffic officers have been deployed in and around Colombo to enable easy commutes for people during Independence Day related activities. That ends Watchlight. Moving on to world news, let's take a look at the headlines. US and India to boost defense and technology cooperation as China threat grows. Myanmar anti-coup forces retain optimism in face of air attacks. Dead chickens and decomposing bodies in South Africa's power blackout pandemic. World news in detail. The United States and India are taking steps to strengthen their defense partnership, officials said Tuesday, the latest sign of cooperation between the two countries in the face of an increasingly assertive China. The plans emerged following 2 days of meeting in Washington between government and business officials from the two countries and include greater collaboration on military-related industries and operational coordination in the Indo-Pacific. Resistance to military rule in Myanmar has been defined by optimism. When the military first seized power on February 1, 2021, the mass peaceful protest has emerged where reminiscence of the jubilant street party. Demonstrators sang on the streets, whose silly customs and carried humorous signs. There were no illusions about what might come next in a country where the armed forces have a history of brutality against those that oppose them. One protester said they were prepared to suffer 100 or even 1,000 deaths to see the military defeated. Car crashes, opportunistic criminals, rotting foods, decomposing bodies, bankrupt businesses, and water shortages will come to life under South Africa's power blackouts. Last week, the grim extent of the outage was laid bare on the South Africans were advised to bury dead bodies of their loved ones within 4 days. In a public statement, the South African Funeral Practitioners Association warned that the bodies in the mortuaries were rapidly decomposing because of the unrelenting electricity outage, putting huge pressure on funeral parlors struggling to process corpse. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines. US and India to boost defense and technology cooperation as China's threat grows. Myanmar anti-coup forces retain optimism in face of air attacks. Dead chickens and decomposing bodies in South Africa's power blackout pandemic. That ends world news. Moving on to development news. The latest BOI-approved expansion project with $12.5 million of Diamond Cutters Limited, Lanka's highest export earner in the gem and jewellery segment and a subsidiary of Nehru Group of Companies, was recently unveiled at the Modharavilla Industrial Zone, Panadura, under the patronage of Indian High Commissioner Gopal Bagle. BOI Director General Renuka M. Veerakon and other distinguished dignitaries were present on the occasion. The expansion project is a new factory dedicated to cutting and polishing diamonds completely for the export market, which will create 1,500 new job opportunities in the market. From 3D diamond scanners to the world's best diamond polishing benches will be used for polishing diamonds for leading brands, enabling local workers to learn about a new technology. That ends development news. Moving on to sports news. Former Sri Lanka school cricketers UAE, in collaboration with the Roshan Mahanama, has organized an exhibition cricket match of felicitate Mahanama's immense contribution to cricket and society. The T20 cricket encounter to be played between We Are Friends 11, led by legendary cricketer and former ICC match referee Roshan Mahanama, and Sri Lankan Schools Initiative 11, led by former Nalandian cricket captain Viraj Guruge. We Are Friends 11 are comprising cricketers, those who have competed the game with Roshan Mahanama during mid-1980s and early 90s. The Invitation 11 mainly consists of former schoolboy cricketers who are currently residing in UAE. That ends the sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka has been listed among the 50 most Instagrammable places in the world for 2023 by the travel website Big 7 Travel. According to Big 7 Travel, Sri Lanka has been ranked the 9th most Instagrammable place in the world for 2023. Describing Sri Lanka, the site said, "The small island nation may not be as well known as some of the other destinations on our list, but it's definitely worth a visit." With over 13 million Instagram hashtags and 16.4 billion TikTok views, Sri Lanka offers a unique blend to cultural, natural and historical attractions, from the ancient rock fortress of Sigiriya to the stunning beaches of the south coast, it added. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance cleared whilst also claiming a victory in digital banking.
Sri Lanka's merchandise trade deficit recorded the lowest in 2022 in December, as earnings from exports highest ever, while expenditure on the imports declined significantly in 2022 compared to 2021. The central bank reported in its external recording the sector performance review for the month on Tuesday. Merchandise trade deficit declined to $358 million in December 2022 compared to $1,085 billion in December 2021. The cumulative deficit in the trade account during January to December 2022 contracted to $5.185 billion from $8.139 billion recorded over the same period in 2021. That ends economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.
Weather report.
The Meteorology Department says the depression over the southwest Bay of Bengal lay centered about 110 kilometers east of Batticaloa today morning. It is likely to move west-southwestward and reach east coast of Sri Lanka on 1st of February 2023 afternoon. Cloudy sky will prevail over most parts of the island, and showers or thunder showers will occur at times in northern, north-central and eastern provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur elsewhere during the afternoon or night. Heavy showers above 100 mm are likely at some places in northern, north-central, eastern and Ur provinces and in Puttlam district. Strong winds about 40 to 50 km per hour can be expected at times over the northern, north-central, eastern and north-western provinces. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporarily localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. That ends weather report. To wrap up the evening news on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. U.S. government expresses support for Sri Lanka's on recovery efforts. Minister of Tourism says over 100,000 tourists arrived in January. The Gazette on local government elections date published. Sri Lanka Navy to take part in Pakistan's naval exercise Aman. Job opportunities in Japan for Sri Lankan males. Foreign news, US and India to boost defense and tech cooperation as China threat grows. Sports news, cricket. Legend Roshan Mahanama to lead a T20 exhibition match in UAE. With that, we wrap up the evening news on Radio Sri Lanka.